Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Andy Makes a Friend, where I do some world building. So, I usually ask chat which one they want me to work on today. I can't do that because on Saturday, my home group picked which homebrew setting they want to go into. So I'm going to work on that because it is ironically the one I have the least done on proper campaign Bible wise. I've got notes, which you can see, really scattered notes here, all different colors. Some of this stuff is not and will not be a thing. But I've got the basic stuff I want to cover, if not all of tonight, then tonight and in the future. Hello, folks in chat. I will open with questions for chat, however. One, what kind of seltzer should I have? I have passion fruit or lime. I'll drink both, but which one should I start with? Yeah. Two, oh, pardon me. Better open one fast. Two, do folks want music with this? I know when Soup did art at the inn, she played music in the background, and I don't know if people want music with this. I think I've asked that before, but always good to double check and check in again. Lime it is. Thank you, chat, and thank you, Soup, for subscribing again. Delicious. Aldi brand. Or Pure Aqua Bellavie. Lime. Aldi's the best. Okay. I asked about music. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good time. Playing BioShock for the first time. I'm terrible at BioShock, it turns out, but it was the free PlayStation Plus game of the month, and I had never played it before because I don't remember why. I don't think it appealed to me when it came out. It's too claustrophobic looking. And yeah, no, it's fun. I'm just terrible at it. And it's interesting. I'm finishing BioShock 1, and then I don't know if I'm going to do 2 and Infinite right away, or I'm going to pace myself. But the other game I was looking at is Persona 5, which I have not started yet, and it's like 100 hours. So I'm kind of like, should I just do all 3 BioShocks and then do Persona, since it'll take me a year to finish at the rate I play video games? I know, Soup, you are a fan of Persona 5, so I do want to check it out, and I've been someone I found on YouTube recently that I've been watching a bunch of their videos. They talk about it a lot, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I haven't played a JRPG in a long time. Long time. Yeah, there is no fantasy chill hop, unfortunately. I found one song, and it's fine, but it's like a minute and a half long. Okay. Enough of the faffing about up front out of the way. But I'll also continue to faff. I do build a connection with you, the audience. Just thought I think it's nice to kind of not hop right into it, talk a little bit up front how my day was. Hope you had a nice day. Oh yeah, it's just like Red Dead, I'm sure, in that there is red in it. Yeah, I was looking at Witcher 3. I was looking because Krista watched me play Red Dead Redemption 2. And she really liked it. And so I was looking for other games that she might like to watch as well. And I think, unfortunately, the only answer is a Red Dead Redemption 1 remaster, which does not exist. Although I've also spoiled her for most of Red Dead Redemption 1 at this point. Still really good, though. And there's a lot of stuff in between. Plus, they could recast they could re-voice Javier and Abigail so they match, because they replaced them for whatever reason. I understand why they replaced Uncle. Because that voice actor sadly passed away. But, yeah, so I was thinking about Witcher 3, but I played a trailer, and I think she thought it looked a little too hectic. But it's a trailer, so that's they tend to be hectic. Then I thought she might like the Assassin's Creed games, specifically Syndicate, since it takes place roughly in the same time period as Red Dead Redemption 2. Or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, just because it's another nice, big, sprawly game. And I never finished Odyssey. That was another game that was like 1.5 billion hours long. I think I played like 50 hours. I don't even think I was halfway through. Really fun, though. I do like the Assassin's Creed games, and Odyssey in particular was really neat, because I'm a nerd, and the part about Assassin's Creed I like isn't the murdering. It's the looking at the cool replication of historical time periods and locations. I want to climb up this giant statue of Zeus. Sure, I'll murder someone with my 300 spear. Whatever, it's fine. Assassin's Creed 2 is good. I do like all of the Ezio games. They're very good. But I have to get my PlayStation 3 back from my brother, and I don't have any of the remasters of those. But she might like those, too. I think she might like the Assassin's Creed games. Other than the part that no one likes, which is the present day or near future nonsense bits. Okay. Oh. All of the Assassin's Creeds that I've played. I'm like on and off with the series. So I've played the Ezio trilogy. Those are good. I played Syndicate. That one's good. Odyssey is good. I tried the piratey ones, but I didn't like the ship combat, but I'm okay at it in Odyssey. I was terrible at it in the piratey ones. Assassin's Creed 3 is not fun. I've never played 1. 2, I think 2 is fun. I love them because I do love how sometimes they're very serious, and other times they're just throwing history to the wall. Like, you have like a pistol in like the 1500s that fits in your like sleeve and has like the accuracy and range of like a sniper rifle. It's like that would not kill an armored guard, let alone have more than one shot ready at a time. Yeah, I think at some point Leonardo da Vinci invents his like gyrocopter thing that he drew, and it's got like a flamethrower on it. Like, those games are bonkers. But they are very fun, and their story is usually mostly good. The past stuff is usually mostly pretty good. Yeah, Krista does like. Krista has a medium tolerance of fantasy. She likes Game of Thrones and she likes Lord of the Rings. But, anyway. Speaking of fantasy, let's talk about Dungeons & Dragons. We can do Andy's video game chat later, where I tell you about all of my dated video game opinions. Assassin's Creed 2, best game of 2008, or whenever it came out. Okay. So, first of all, there's a typo. Okay. So, this setting was originally, cleverly, in my opinion, called Boot Underhill, because it was a very Wild West setting. It has evolved, so it is not really that anymore. So I'm not going to call it that anymore. If I wanted to, first of all, I think that name is clever. So I would want to save it for a proper Wild West setting. So I'm going to just delete that right now. Okay. This is okay. So the basic premises of this setting, and I've mentioned this sphere on Star Chasers before. It's one of the spheres they are currently near. So there is, and I think I've actually even explained the lore a little bit on Star Chasers, because I think, Daydreams at Night is from this sphere. And there are at least 2 other things that have been on stream that are from this sphere. One is a person, and another is, if I tell you what it is, it will be too... It's Keldon. Keldon is from this sphere. I'll just say that. So... sorry, I was looking at chat. I need a way to get chat over here. I guess I could put my phone. It's fine. Okay, so, the players will start on the moon, which is called Wyanyoth. And there. Wyanyoth is an ecumenopolis, which means the entire planet, in this case a moon, is a city. So Coruscant or Ravnica are the 2 kind of biggest examples. So Wyanyoth is a heavily industrialized moon. Its technology level is roughly Victorian. It's gone through an industrial revolution, or going through an industrial revolution, but they have run out of resources on their moon. They have kind of strip mined it, and there's nothing left. So they have built a rudimentary spelljammer. It's essentially a dropship that can take them to the planet below, which they have discovered is rich with resources. However, it is full of monsters. There is no sapient indigenous life. It's all monsters that they know of. They haven't found any. So it's not gonna... I did want to avoid the issue of colonization. There still might be Space PETA who's like, well, you can't kill a Hydra. It's just in its home, taking care of its Hydra babies. Okay, well, it's a Hydra. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Storm does seem to crush easily. It's the he gets that far off look in his eyes. It's endearing. Yeah. The Hydra's just trying to live its life, and you came, started slicing off heads. Why? To get some metal so your family can live? Gross. Gross. Wow. Hurtful. Hurtful and gross. Poor Hydras. They didn't do anything wrong. When we were talking about it, I at home on Saturday, I don't know why Hydra became... But Hydra is the monster we just kept bringing up as... Yeah, and it's full of Hydras. I think because they're big and scary. And they're not dragons. It's funny. So the planet is full of danger, but full of resources. So the players will be representing various interests on the planet and attempting to set up a colony, set up, resource claims, set up mines, locate water, locate food. Like, it will be kind of civilization-y. It's going to have to be resource management. So we're coming at it from almost like it's going to be like a resource management economy as opposed to a gold economy. They might still get gold. I won't call it gold. Marty's already said, like, I don't want to hear gold pieces. Yeah, it won't be gold pieces. They'll be bucks or something like that. Euro bucks. Space bucks. What's Euro bucks from? Oh, I think Euro bucks is Cyberpunk. 2020. I think they're called Euro bucks. Yeah, there'll be credits or bits or something. It'll be Bitcoin. They use Bitcoin. Only wizards understand it. It's complicated. Oh, chat's moving a little fast. Okay, let's see. Well, not moving fast. I'm not looking at it all the time. Yeah, Moonbucks. So I want to build something I can send to my players soon. I don't know if I'll get it done tonight. The Bide campaign Bible probably ended up taking me... Well, I mean, it took me a couple hours of dedicated work, but I did it over like a week or two. And that one I really like, but it's also gone through a lot of editing and formatting, and I've, asked people if it makes sense, the order and stuff like that. So it really did take a long time to kind of get right, but I think I've learned a lot from that. And I'm going to apply here. So let me open the Bide one real fast. Okay. So I think everyone who follows me on Twitter or Instagram knows I really like Adobe Spark because it's really easy to use on your phone. Okay, so I got a little overview-y kind of pitch here. People and places, it goes continent by continent, country by country. This would be a little different for Waianyos because it's just one place. And they don't really have, there's a government, but it is sort of cyberpunky in that the corporations are sort of in charge. Like, there's a president or a mayor or something, maybe a governor, a commodore, a commandant. But they are a superficial power at best. So, let's see. Yeah, and then it goes through all of the races. For the most part, I'm probably going to have them be fairly typical fantasy. It's just you kind of have to accelerate like the timeline, like 400 years. Or typical fantasy. I always say stuff like that. Forgotten Realmsian, Greyhawkian, Tolkienian. So yeah, this is broken down by continent. Let's see. Then we got the guns. I really like the Pantheon I've started to come up with for this one. I even considered replacing the Bide-ish Pantheon with it, but I think the Bide Pantheon, I built that to fit the setting, so I do ultimately think it fits the setting better. And I like a lot of the Bide Pantheon. I'm not trying to shit on that. I just liked some of the stuff I've come up with for here. So then I've done important figures. So that's going to be important here as well. But I'm going to do factions here. Factions in like megacores. And business. I got to think of something that's not cyberpunky from the idea of like a mega corporation. I don't want to call them megacores because that's cyberpunky. So business interests. The Burgomaster, yes. They're the Burgomeister. And then a timeline. Now, Bide is only at approximately, or is at 1099. Unfortunately, we're at 1888. So, if I do a brief timeline, it's gonna be hard. But first I gotta figure out a setting name. So, the Pantheon I've decided is called the Gracefall Pantheon. So I thought Gracefall might be an okay name for the setting. It doesn't really convey what it is, though. So, yeah, I don't know. Can't tell if my wife's home or if the cats are making weird noises. Oh, my wife's home. No, that's the cat. I thought it was the door. It's them wrestling and something. Okay. So yeah, Gracefall, I could just call it Elsier, which is the name of the planet. Wyanyoth is the name of the moon. Elsier X Wyanyoth, that's just fantasy nonsense. So if anybody thinks of something, Planetfall, but I'm pretty sure it's a video game. Moonbase X, I don't know. What is what, Timothy? I might have missed what that was about. Okay, so let me start here. So, the moon of Wyanyoth. Home to... Oh, I tried to figure out... So I figured out how big our moon is surface area-wise. And I figured out how many people were in London at approximately like 1850. And I multiplied the population density. Like I did a little math. And if it had the same population density for the size of our moon, there would be like 24 billion people on the moon if it was a whole city. So I'm not going to do that many people. I'm going to say maybe a cool bill. And that's a lot. How many people were on Earth in 1890? Population of the world, 1890. Okay, in 1800 it was 1 billion. What was it in 1900? 1.6 billion. Wow. That's alarmingly quickly, because it went from 1.6 billion in 1900 to 6 billion in 2000, whereas from 1800 went from 1 billion to 1.6 billion. I don't know if any of this is accurate. Yeah, it seems too many people, considering, the population of Earth is, 7.7 billion people or something. I don't want 24 billion people. But also you gotta figure, if you kind of do that classic elves live a long time and they don't have that many kids, it's gonna cut population. Kind of dwarves the same thing. It's like they just live a long time and there's still only 3, so generationally there aren't that many of them. To 1 billion. Densely packed souls. An industrial haven of opportunity and business. Oh, yeah, well, that's a... Yeah, there were... Well, yeah, and certainly diseases contributed greatly to the very slow population growth between 18 and 1900. But 19 to 2000, it's so high, and yeah, there were 2 world wars in there. And World War I, essentially killed a generation of men in Europe. Like, the population of Russia lost in World War II was, astronomical, and, obviously all of the other parts. World wars are bad. They're terribly sad. Okay. An industrial haven of opportunity and business. Yes. There's celebrating to do. No scum and villainy, not scum and villainy. I mean, it is scum and villainy. It's just... It's scum and villainy wearing a top hat. An industrial haven of opportunity and business. Read scum and villainy. The lunar surface has been totally covered by an enormous... I'm such a good speller. I wasn't that far off. By an enormous city, and its resources have been drained. The East Lunar Company has recently developed a type of Spelljammer dropship which can transport willing adventurers, mercenaries, colonists, scientists, explorers, and outcasts to the surface of the dangerous and resource-rich planets below. Welcome to Elsier. Time to get to work. Thank you, Timothy. I figured if I don't read it, or if you can just watch me typing, that's boring. But I also, half the reason why I do the show is I talk to myself when I'm doing this anyway. I might as well have it recorded so I can remember what I say. But also, I do really enjoy it, and I talk to myself when I'm doing this, so I probably would be dictating it to myself, even if it wasn't for your benefit. Okay. People and places. So let's... Ooh, crap. Okay, so let's go in here. Oh, no, that's bad. I'll close that because I don't need it anymore. There's the gods. We'll get there in a second. Okay, here we go. The original races. Okay. I don't know why I have lizard folk out here, and then, like, Dragonborn, that makes sense, but I don't know why I have anything else under there. Maybe I had an idea, and I don't remember what it was. Okay, let's see. Apparently D&D Beyond is making a special announcement tomorrow. We'll see what that is. I don't know if anyone has an iPhone, but in the most recent update, for whatever reason, it now puts, whenever I get an email alert for a notification from Gmail, it puts the sender in quotes. This is from D&D Beyond. I just think that's weird. Like, are you not sure it's for, are they being sarcastic? Okay, let's see. Okay. So the original races, we have humans, Eladrin, dwarves, orcs, half-orcs. In most of my... I don't know if I've ever said this. In most of my games, I just consider... If you want to be an orc, you can just use half-orc stats, and I don't care, because the half-orcs are better than orcs, in my opinion, in 5e. If you want to use the orc stats, feel free. But you can play an orc using half-orc stats. And I typically, in my homebrews, I just extrapolated that orcs and half-orcs are functionally the same. Oh, thank you, Timothy. And it is weird, Cece. I agree. Let's see. Let me GIF, because Loxodon and GIF are not that far off. Okay, so the original races are humans, Eladrin, dwarves, orcs, dragonborn, gnolls, firbolgs, Loxodon, GIF, minotaurs, turtles, and Triton. The Triton are nearly extinct because there's not that much good water for them to live left in. All of the rivers are terribly polluted. I don't know if I had a reason for some of these. Some of them are just races I like. Like, I don't know. Gnolls. I just think gnolls are cool. I don't know why they made the cut for the old races. Young races. So a lot of these were created by the new batch of gods, which we'll talk about in a bit. And then the newest race are Warforged, which were created not terribly long ago and are useful for being sent as sentries down to the planet below because they require less resources. Or resources that travel better. You know, they just need oil or metal. They don't need food. It won't go bad. They don't need water. That kind of thing. It is sad for Tritons. Okay. So, if anybody has read the Discworld books, specifically the Tiffany Aching series, which I've read 2 of, and I'm sure Marty will yell at me, because I have not finished them. But there are characters in that called Knack McFeagles, who are these like little blue barbarian things. They're like the size of pixies or fairies. They're like a foot tall, and they believe that the Discworld is their afterlife. So they just think it's great. It's Valhalla essentially, and they don't care if they die because they'll just go. It's the afterlife. You can't die already. So they're just like weird barbarian party people, and I thought that would fit goblins very well. So yeah, they were placed here by the gods, so this must be heaven. Let's see. So gnomes, non-Elandrin elves were created by gods not terribly long ago. Goblinoids, Warforged, Lizardfolk, Wanti, Halflings, Tabaxi, Aarakocra, Asimars were created by Evangeline and she grew in power to be her foot soldiers in the war. Tieflings were ancestors, were agents of Asmodeus during the Great Fall, and they were allowed free from the hells in exchange for mortality. Centaur, Ganassi, Gith, Kenku. I have Lizardfolk. I have Dragonborn. I have all of these. Okay. None of these are permanent. I could move any of them around, get a little more traditional with it. Yeah, I like gnolls, but they do not fit up here. Oh, well, if minotaurs do. But minotaurs don't really fit up there either. I'm moving them down here. I'm going to take out GIF. Sorry, Warminster. You're not from this planet anyway. I think other than that sort of fits well. The weirder ones are Loxodon and Turtles. But I think they kind of fit being, sort of like the older, wise races, if that's how we want to stereotype them. Okay. So I'm probably going to only write stuff if there's weird stuff to say about them. So for instance, Dragonborns were created by the Great Dragons. There may only be 999 at any given time. When one dies in battle or of old age, a new one hatches. During the Gracefall, which is, I'll get to in a minute, a time of great tumult, the Dragonborn were nearly destroyed and many elders were killed, losing much of the lore of the Great Dragons. So they are one of the older peoples of Wyanyoth, but their history is gone in a lot of ways. They could be moondogs. Fall Dog Bombs the Moon is a song that David Bowie sings, but I don't think he wrote. I can't remember who wrote it. It's a cover. I just don't know who the original version is by. Let's see. Oh, also, Tieflings are Amish. Okay. Okay. So let's start doing the gods. I have to pick names. Okay, so the Gracefall Pantheon. All these are different colors for a reason. I can't remember what that reason was, but no, it was to separate them. And when I decided I liked something, I changed the color of it. And when I wasn't sure about something, I kept the font black. And then when I confirmed something, I changed the color. So let me change all of these to be black. Okay, so first, we're going to go with our main goddess, Evangeline. She's the Lady of Light, neutral good. She's called the Shepherdess, the Lady of Grace, Our Lady. She is a former angel, and she is traditionally pictured as winged with a long white robe and a hood over her eyes, smiling, and a shepherd's crook. And then her cult are the Eyes of Evangeline. And I have here written Saint Ezra. I don't know why. I guess I named a saint. The David... no, I think Fall Dog Bombs the Moon is on Reality. I think. It's one of his newer albums, but I feel like it was before... It was before we had, like... I think it's his neoclassical period. Like, neoclassic Bowie, which was his last, like, 2 or 3 albums. I think it was one of the ones before that. It was sort of... It was post Tin Machine. It was weird. They're good. I really like Reality. I think it's an underrated album. Okay. So, Dakul is a former angel. He was one of Evangeline's angels. He's the Lord of the Dead, Judgment, and the Underworld. So his dominions are grave and death. Okay. Selah is a Titan. So, Evangeline leads the Gracefall Pantheon. She also led the Gracefall, which is when these gods overthrew the Titans. So we'll get to the Titans in a bit. There are people who still worship Titans. They are rare. and nobody likes them, and they are cults. But Sayla is a Titan who defected and becomes Queen of the Open Sky. She had a different name but when she was a Titan, but that name is forbidden to be spoken, so I'm not going to write it down. Because I don't want my players to know what it is, because it has been essentially erased from public memory. Because the propaganda is essentially, you don't necessarily want people to know she was a Titan, but people don't not know. But you're not supposed to know her true name. Yeah, thumbs up for all David Bowie, in my opinion. I even like the ones he does, the albums that nobody likes. I think Tin Machine is fine. But Reality is one of my favorite albums from him. It must have come out when I was... It's from the mid-2000s, so it might have been just in that period where I was just, like, absorbing all music. You know, that I could get, you know, when you're younger and you can kind of just have that, you find one artist and you can deep dive them. And, you know, I'm not like, I discovered David, you know, obviously. But it was one of those things where everyone talks about David Bowie's older albums, and typically people don't talk about classic rock people's new albums, for reasons, usually. But I think, again, top to bottom, I think David Bowie just doesn't have that many bad albums or songs. There are songs I will skip, but they're perfectly good still. Except for that one about the gnome. That's a weird one. Anyway. So, I think... Because I have Aarakocra, right? So I think... as sort of like a reward and atonement, when after Sayla defected, she creates the Aarakocra to be like, look, I have blessed you all I have blessed these people with the power of flight. Because I'm not going to try to type that. Yeah, exactly, Timothy. It's very much Greek god, Titans. But yeah, it's very much, I'm going for that. I want the drama of the overthrow of, you know, that kind of mythology. And it's sort of built into Forgotten Realms, but we've mostly reset to where it just used to be. But, you know, in between editions, there's a lot of turmoil and, you know, gods fall and gods die, and I just kind of wanted to do something like that, the evolving pantheon kind of thing. And, you know, there might be elves alive who remember what Titans were. So, Sayla is the goddess of freedom, flying creatures, choice. That's one phrase for flying creatures choice. The choice of flying creatures. Pranksters, luck, perseverance, the sky, travelers, tricksters. Got a lot of domains as such. Twilight, I guess there was a Twilight. Oh, there was a Twilight Unearthed Arcana domain, right? I try and throw those in there when I remember. Although, I'm behind now because there's a... No. Unity. Order. I don't know. And I'm going to need some kind of civilization god for sure. Yeah, and the Nentir Vale's default pantheon it's called the Dawn War Pantheon. It references that there's a Dawn War, and I think that it's also against Primordials, because 4th edition loved Primordials. I like Primordials. I didn't like making all the elemental planes one soup, but I like Primordials. Okay. Which name do you like better? Palarch or Palon is another former angel. He's the king of the wastes. I haven't settled on some alignments for them. But he's going to be evil. I guess I had him as two different gods. Oh, no. Yeah, that's an old idea. Okay. So, Pelarch or Pelon. Timothy votes Pelon. So, this person, Pelarch or Pelon, is the king of the wastes. They are the god of survival, goblinoids, and monsters. So, ironically, it's sort of that, like, what the, is it Aor? Aeol? The goddess of winter for the Grant realms? I think it's Aeol. Her priests exalt winter, but they also want to help you prepare for winter. So, Pelarch or Pelon, they are the god of monsters and survival. You survive against monsters. So it's this sort of cycle. He puts monsters, or, it has domain over the monsters to test you. If survival were easy, it wouldn't be worth doing, I think is his point. So, maybe chaotic, maybe neutral evil. One vote each, yeah, okay. I will leave it as that for now, and we'll come back to it. So, Pelarch Pelon, has black feathered wings, a red sash covering his eyes, long black ram horns in deep black hair, and is typically frowning, and he carries the sword, a flaming sword that Evangeline once wielded. So Evangeline was like a Saint Michael, a vengeful angel, or Michael, not just Michael, not Saint Michael. I don't know anything about religion. Used to be a vengeful angel kind of thing, overthrew the Titans and laid down her sword, and it was taken up by Pelarch, or Pelon. Okay. Kayla, the heart in the home, just, fairly typical hearth goddess, hearth home. Halflings. Although, I swear, yeah. Okay, here's another. Okay. This may answer our Pelarch Pelon question. Do you like Thalon, or Thealarch more? Because whatever we pick, we'll pick the opposite for the other guy. So Thalon or Thealarch? Well, and if he's Thalon, okay. Are you just saying that because you like Pelarch better? If he was a true, just simply survival of the fittest, I think that would be neutral. But there is the aspect where he's still the god of monsters. And, like, the father of monsters and king of the wastes. And he wants you to suffer. He doesn't want surviving to be easy. It's very much a suffering kind of thing. Yeah, she is. Okay, so we're gonna call him the Lord in Iron, since this guy's the king of the wastes. Okay, so the god of the dwarves and creator of gnomes and halflings. He's a divine dwarven hero who aided in the overthrow of the Titans. He created the gnomes to complement the dwarves' ability to mine, with the gnomes' ability to tinker and invent. And then halflings were created to be jovial friends to all, and natural wanderers and merchants for the crafts of dwarves and gnomes. And, these are creation myths, essentially. So whether or not this is the explicit purposes of them. But certain races appeared after the Gracefall. That's what the new ones are versus the old ones. Okay, so yeah, so Soup is saying she likes Thalon and Paylark versus Thalark and Palon. Why did I do this to myself? Okay, so that was them. Okay, here's an Sonez. Regent of the Stars is the god of elves, astronomy, magic, and the ocean. Is a divine Eladrin hero, specifically, because Eladrin are the old elves, who aided in the overthrow of the Titans, much like Thalon Thalark, and created all of the elven sub-races. Before this, there were only Eladrin, who are still considered the most divine elves, but have become rare. Since the time of the Gracefall, young elves have become more common. So, and I'm kind of taking the almost... Okay. So we'll do Thalon and Paylark. I like it. So the idea being that Eladrin are quote-unquote divine because... Not because they are the closest to Corellon in this instance, but because they are the closest... They are essentially the siblings of Sonez. So, while Sonez is the only one who rose to divinity, they are old enough to remember that person. As a person, not a divinity. Sonez didn't create the Eladrin, but he elevated other people to be elves. So he created Wood Elves, Drow... Wood Elves, Drow, Dark Elves. The same thing, Andy. Wood Elves, Drow, High Elves, Sea Elves, those Winged Elves that occasionally appear in editions that have a name. Everreal, I think. Oh, wow. It's a real shame you can't stay, CC. But Sonez created elves to proliferate and live everywhere, essentially. So it's almost that Grumpsh kind of origin story where he gets mad that everyone else has, the elves have taken the forest and the dwarves have taken the mountains, so he starts stabbing the map, and we will live here, and we will live here. It's Sonez is kind of, and we'll live everywhere, because I've created elves for everything. Elves, do you need an elf? Here's an elf! Underground needs elves, here, Drow. The Shadowfell probably needs elves, Shatterkai. The water needs elves, water elves. Air needs elves, flying elves. Those woods need elves. Well, you cut all the woods down. Those towers need elves. Just keep making elves. Elves on elves on elves. Heard you like elves, so I got you some elves for your elves. Okay. Okay, so here's a problem. This is a holdover from when it was a little more of a Wild West setting, because there wouldn't be a Shaman of the Desert yet. So I'm gonna keep this god. It's just it's good. They're going to be the goddess. God of artisans, poets, singers, creatives, that kind of thing. Animals in the natural world. Yeah, well, there's not much of that left, is there? At least not here. So maybe I kind of think it's going to be god of poets, singers, and creatives. And then it's becoming like a secondary religion to animals and nature on Elsier It's not really something that's acknowledged on Hawaiian yachts because they don't have that really anymore. They have like rats and pigeons and stuff, and livestock, but they don't really have wild animals. Waste elves, yeah. There's in one of the Unearthed Arcanas, there's Greyhawk elves, and they, in my opinion, make very good like desert elves. I think they have like constitution and they're like hardy and stuff. So waste elves. Okay. Okay, then we have Skolas, the serpent. Created Wanty, lizard folk, kobolds, and I'm not going to say Dragonborn. Dragonborn were created by the Great Dragons. But Skolas, because the Dragonborn were decimated, Skolas tried to replicate Dragonborn and never got it right any time. So he ended up with kobolds, who are too small and cowardly, lizard folk, who are too bestial, and then Wanty. You know what? Fuck it. Now there's snakes. I don't know. Yeah, so I think Calvera, while on Wyanyoth, will be a very weak power, but sort of as people have to learn how to deal with nature again, they will start to grow in power. It will be... Oh, there were teachings about what kind of herbs and medicines and animals can be used for certain things. We just need to find these ancient texts. Okay. So, let's see. We got a neutral good god. We got a neutral. We got chaotic neutral. We got neutral evil. Chaotic good. Awful good. Chaotic good. Neutral. That was a good face, Andy. Awful neutral. Okay, we need... We only have one evil god. And we need a god of business. Who will be lawful neutral. Let's see. I had a list of names that I wasn't using. Where are they? Gassats. The god in gold. God of business. Industrialization. Expansion. Money. Gems. Off neutral. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Greyhawk as a setting, but I do know that that's what the UA elves ended up looking like. And they were neat. I kind of wish they had made a book, but I understand why they didn't make a book, because there's no... Well, there's the Salt Marsh as a Greyhawk book. Maybe it'll come out at some point. I kind of still hope there's a gazetteer book coming up where it's just like overview of Sigil, overview of Greyhawk, overview of Ravenloft, beyond Curse of Strahd. But it seems like they're gearing up to another player supplement, which is good. Okay, what do we need, god-wise? We got a solid leader, a good all-purpose god, Lord of the Dead. Got a freedom and travelers, which is important. Survival, the hearth and home, dwarves, elves, art. Although if I wanted to make Calvera now, that never mind. Stupid thoughts, stupid Andy, stupid. I was gonna say civilization, but that totally counteracts with natural world. Can't be both. Or they can be. They're just very complicated. Let's see. I have Garsai, the Unconquered Mind. I don't know what that means. Is that too close to Gassat? Got it. Well, I also want Spelljammer Timothy for sure. I hope. I think that's something you could put just in a. It doesn't have to be a big section of a book. They've already got rules for it. It's in freaking Dungeon of the Man Mage for the Helm rules. God of Hammers. Sorry. Okay, God of Hammers. I mean, I would say that's Thalen. I know that's stereotypical, but if we wanted like a Thor, there isn't like a warrior god. But would that be the kind of thing that's sort of just fallen out of fashion? God of Healing, I would say, is Evangeline. Or Kayla. Yeah, I think Spelljammer's coming. I think they did a good... I kind of liked what they did with Eberron, where you just put a PDF out, you see how it works, and then eventually it doesn't even have to build up to a book to me. You just put the PDF out. That's fine by me. Just the WotC official PDF would be great. Or just open it up on the DMs Guild. But I understand why they're doing it. There was a really good Twitter chain about why they don't just like flood open all their campaign settings. It's because that's what made them bankrupt before. So I get it. Not selling well all of these settings, but having a bunch of lines, book lines that don't get supported or focus, and they just don't really sell very well, but you're still publishing a bunch of books. So if you hyper focus, people buy all the books. And if they're widely useful. So I get it. I still want Spelljammer. Okay. Yeah. God of Screwdrivers ascends as God of Hammers falls. Definitely. Okay. Let's do two more gods. Let's do a god of... civilization and order. Let's make you a goddess. And goddess of warriors. if I like that, but it's a name. Kogara is goddess of warriors. Has fallen in recent war. Has fallen in recent times due to less reliance on physical violence to solve problems. But they're about to go to a terribly dangerous place where warriors will be once again necessary. She'll be back up. Phillips, the gnome god of screwdrivers. Yes. And his cousin Flathead. Okay. Arathis is the 4E god of civilization. I always thought she was neat. Let me think. Okay, what do we have? We have something beginning with an E, a D, an S, a P, a K, a T, an S, a C, an S, a G. Going to hit a random letter on my keyboard. F. I almost heard Fanta. Not good. Then I almost heard Fandolin. That's not good either. Okay. Phelan? Is that like anything else? Phelan. Damn it. That thing we spent 20 minutes deciding. We're going to a random name generator. ASMR name. That's fine. Oh. Aussie. And I like this better. In low. In Loa? I think I like in Loa. And Vazi. So she's lawful neutral. Chaotic neutral. Do I have every... I don't have lawful evil covered. Lord of Business Executives. Let's see. Ionla? You like Ionla better than Inola? That does sound a bit like Inola. What else is on this list? Inlo? I mean, Inlo is better than maybe Inloa. Or Elo. Let's go with Inlo. Let's just go with Inlo. Okay, who are the lawful evil gods in 5e? It's Asmodeus. Bane? Is Bane lawful evil? Here we go. Let's see. Right, there's a billion gods. Bane is lawful evil, god of tyranny. Is that it? Can't be it. Asmodeus doesn't make the cut as a deity of the Forgotten Realms? Okay, I guess. Oh, there's another one. Leviathan, goddess of pain. Okay. Boy, there's not a lot of lawful evil gods. Billion and a half neutral good gods. Okay, what about other places? I guess chaotic good doesn't exist on Dragonlance. Okay. Greyhawk, Hexator, god of war and discord. Tachesis is lawful evil? Bullshit. Sorry, now I'm just like fascinated by what these alignments are non-human deities. Little loop to the bloop is neutral evil. Magubliet, lawful evil, god of war. Sokola, Sahagin, god of the hunt, is lawful evil. Surtur is evil. Tiamat's lawful evil? I guess. Gandala, let's see. Okay. Okay, I could do war. God of war and tyranny. That's sort of... I think Palarch was originally 2 gods that I combined to 1. And that was where more of the survival thing came in. I'm getting too caught up on this. Let's see. How many gods do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I hate it. There's too many. Better have too many and work down. We're making Inlo a lawful evil goddess. Goddess of war, tyranny, and war. Because then I wonder if Vazit and Ghazi can't just be one god. And now I don't like Vazi as a name either. Okay. Yeah, but she's trapped in hell. She doesn't want to be in hell. Although on Kryn, she's trapped in the abyss. Look, I mean, I'll have a giant pantheon all day. It's hard. It is hard to remember. I don't want my. Well, and like, Bide has a billion gods, and they're all lesser and greater, and different races have different pantheons, and I do want it to be just kind of easy. And I do kind of like the idea that, yeah, these aren't all of the gods that started, and that some of them... I don't have a god of magic. Shit. I need a god of magic. Oh, no, I do. Sonez. I'm good. I nailed it. Okay, this is fine for now. Because it's an hour and a half, or an hour and 20 minutes, and I haven't even gotten past this. And this is the stuff I had written already. Oh, boy. This ain't getting done this week. Okay. Okay. Yeah, see, I feel like lawful evil makes more sense for Lolth than Tiamat. To me, I do think dragons are just chaotic evil, but I get that they're cunning and planners, and Tiamat has a plan. But yeah, Lolth I've always found, like, Drow society's structured to me. It's not chaotic. It is chaotic because there's a bunch of backstabbing, but there's still, like, the edifice of structure about it. So I never quite understood why they're chaotic, but there could be a god with split natures. Okay, the gods I'm most attached to are Evangeline, Palarch, Selah, Thalen, and Sonez. But, like, yeah, or, there could be, like, a god who, like, rebranded, like, Amonitar, who Amonitar used to be, like, the god of law and laws and contracts, and now he's sort of trying to be like, but also the sun, please. Skolas is just, right now, is the serpent. So I could give Skolas, like, an actual... I could give them... domains. Okay, let me think on this. Oh, yeah, I guess Lolth is a demon lord, but I think you can make the case. Especially if you don't want to make... Because she doesn't have to be a demon lord. She could be a goddess. Just a goddess. I mean, boss move. She's a lawful evil goddess who took over a layer of the abyss. Yeah, deal with it. Okay. So, we're going to go with factions. So right now, I've got the East Lunar Trading Company, the Sisters of the Void, the Voiceless Cabal, Markov Syndicate, the Spire, Vivid Eclipse, Togawa Semi-Legitimate Trade Guild, the Dimstar Union, the Hendra Girls. So okay, the other thing is... on planet. Let's go on else here. And on Wyanyoth. Crap. Okay. Ninja Girls. Tiefling Triplets. Originally this was a list of Star Wars factions I created, which is why it says Slicers. Yeah, Lolth does what she wants. She's a girl boss. Okay. Okay. But Timothy is saying I could make the serpent god sort of the god of magic and secrets, and that might work too. Okay. Okay, honestly, I think I hit a bit of a wall tonight. So, I'm going to keep working on this. I'll either work on it on stream or I'll work on it and I'll do an update whenever I do this next. Which may be again next Monday. I'm not sure yet. I did want to get some Call of Cthulhu in solo stuff. But one, I am enjoying this, and two, I am getting stuff done, which is nice. So, fragments. I don't know what that is reference to. I'm going to cut that and put that down here. Okay, so technology, as I said, is vaguely Victorian Industrial Revolution. There's a citywide trolley and tram system. That's the mass transit. And I want there to be one-use magic items that replicate cantrips. So, like a little stick that you snap in half and it creates a bonfire kind of thing. So I asked the Discord what they thought names would be. And I got a bunch of suggestions. So I'm going to consider those. So I also want one-use magic items that replicate spells as well. I kind of think those fit better under there. Like crystal, if they were more powerful spells, they kind of have to be contained in maybe a crystal. Very Final Fantasy. And obviously they wouldn't be cantrip crystals, they're just crystals. Yeah, they might just be called crystals. They're crystals. Or fragments. Oh, lots of soot. No, this moon's screwed. It's terrible looking. Which maybe I need a god of chimbley sweeps. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I think I've hit a wall tonight. And we're up on an hour and a half, which is about how long I usually go for these. Sometimes if I'm cruising, I'll go for 2 hours. But yeah, they just look like nothing. It just looks like nothing to me right now. Which you get sometimes. And that's a good point. Sometimes you just hit a wall and you just have to walk away. And that's part of being creative. Yeah, okay. So. Hi, how are you? This has been Andy Makes a Friend. This week, Task Force Unlikely is back live on Wednesdays. Very exciting. It is the group which we are working on coming up with a name for. We've got some funny names and interesting names in the Discord. But it's Navira's Hell Squad, ostensibly. And their plan to go to hell with Raceland. Speaking of Tiamat. Next week, Monday might be this again, so I can get more of this done, and if I work on this in the meantime, I will update you. But otherwise, I'll follow me on Twitter at Andy Hatton or at Laughin' Dragon and INN Laugh INN Dragon. And yeah, I know this was a lot of me faffing about, but that's what these usually are, and I hope there was some interesting stuff in here, and I hope there will continue to be interesting stuff as I hammer a lot of this stuff out. This is very rough draft, you saw what the Bide one looked like. Eventually I want it to look like that. I don't know if it will be quite as in-depth, because part of the appeal of this setting and one of the other settings that when I pitched it to my players is it's a lot more collaborative world building. It's you tell me what's happening and that kind of stuff. That Suburbia was more that than this, but this is still that a little bit. So yeah, I hope you'll join us. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow and subscribe on Twitch. And yeah, have a great night, everybody. Anything in chat I can say? God of Chimney Sweets would be named Van Dyke, yeah. For the single use. Cantrip ready to cast. Like an MRE. That's clever. CRE. Cantrip ready to cast. CRE. Right, because MRE is meal ready to be eaten. CRC. That maybe that's like the Let me write that down before I log off. Because that might even be like a good official name for it, and then colloquially people call them trinkets or tokens or something like that. But their trade name is Cantrip Ready to Cast. Their CRC. So certain military types or more mercenary types call them CRCs. And you're like, what are you talking about? Your trinket, dude. Gotcha. Okay. Oh. Let me write down Cantrip Ready to Cast. Because otherwise I'll come back in a week and be like, what the hell is CRC mean? Okay. That's it for me. Have a great night, everybody.